Hello there everybody and welcome back to another video, and this one I'm doing some work to an old Hornby wagon. Here is the wagon. Now what we're going to do is we're going to detail it so it matches this one behind a little bit better, and then we're going to do some more detailing and weathering so it fits into a rake with the wagon behind, which some of you might recognise as the 10-minute challenge rather. Now to do that, the first job is to get these two vaguely on the same level. So what we're going to do is repaint the interior of this wagon, as well as repainting the interior of this one. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to do a couple of others, just so I've got a wooden tone on the inside. I don't really like the factory painted wood tones. I think they're too bright. So I'm going to mix up my own brown with a couple of different shades, and then we'll have a nice woody tone for the insides of each of these wagons. But yeah, I'm going to do that now. Okay, so here's the wagon itself. It's had a little bit of work done to it so far, and next to it is a wagon that is going to be in the same rake as it. Ironically, another Stoke-on-Trent wagon. I just quite like my private owned ones to have something to do with me, and Stoke is where I'm from. So you can see here both are slightly patched up. These represent like just before the Second World War, basically any time between then and probably the First World War, to be honest with you. The other side is significantly more weathered on this one, and it's got a P number on it and it's got various different BR details. That's because this represents a post-World War II, post-nationalisation side, where all private owners were pooled and became part of British Railways. It actually happened during the war, but yeah. Basically what I'm going to do is, this side's already had some work done to it for the pre-nationalisation side of it. This side's going to have a load more patchwork done to it to represent a post-nationalisation side, where these things were decades old and had been run really roughly through the war. Part of the reason why 16-tonners came in is because of how ragged wooden wagons were. These are the four main colours that I use when I'm weathering wood. You can kind of see I've done some work to the inside using these four paints here. We've got a Citadel paint, which is like a dark brown. We've got a lighter brown, like a tan here. We've got a more reddy brown there, and just a more wood tone there. Sometimes I do intersperse this in, but probably won't on this project, just because it's quite a bright wagon anyway. If this was a darker livery, then I'd probably include that. So what I do is, really simply, I take a small brush like this, or a kebab skewer. I broke my kebab skewer, so we're going to do it old school, and we're going to use a brush and just brush paint it on. The wood tones are being used to do the planking detailing on the outside of the wagon here, just picking and choosing which ones I think are cool, but still being able to read vaguely what it says. I then added BR decals, you can see them here, to represent a BR private owner wagon that's been absorbed into the BR stock. And then I painted the brake handles white, the brake levers rather white, and these basically just have quite a fun effect, and periodically were painted in BR service, so it's just a fun little feature. After using some rail grey from Rail Match, which I treat as a matte black, and lots of wiping with these, which are cotton buds, we've got the BR side, and nationalisation, pre-nationalisation side, and the end here. All looking really rather good. Did some work on the chassis as well, just tying it all in really, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. The inside is also weathered as well, just to give that battered appearance. The streaking and the extra woodwork that I did before really comes into its own here. What you've just seen me do there is take off and strip these big D-style couplings for these coupling arrangements, which are 3D printed parts with NEM pockets on them. Now, NEMs are very much modern standard. It's very much a giveaway of the era that these wagons were produced in, to be honest. But because I run KDs, obviously for my shunting layouts, these can be magnetically disconnected really easily. I kind of need them NEMs, so this is the way the Batman came up with it. Nice little slot socket. It's the way that Hornby do it now, but obviously with these sort of wagons I can't just drop those on, there won't be enough swing. So these 3D printed parts, they're a bit big if you look at the wagon side on like that, but they do work, and it means that I can operate these on my shunting layouts which is the most important thing for me. So in terms of operation side, this is one of the last things. I've had to make some cuts along here just to make sure the wheels can spin, but they do. So yeah, it's ideal. So I've taken it from this, having a big D style, to having some NEM ones, which means I can have my KDs, and also the slimline tension locks, which look loads better than these big D ones. I always think context is a massive part of this style of modelling, because this wagon has been designed to run in a rake of wagons on a layout such as this, which is Shaw's Cross, my industrial shunting layout. I'll leave a link in the description to the video. And it's also been designed to be pulled by something like this Kerr Stewart Victory by Planet Industrials in the background. Again, link in the description to that. It's been designed to operate within these rakes. If it's sat and it was really clean compared to the others, it wouldn't make much sense. But also, if it was really filthy in comparison to the others, again, it wouldn't make much sense. So I've been weathering with the intention of it being run with other wagons that I've weathered in the last couple of years. The work that I've done to the inside helps with the God complex that we've got when we look into model railway wagons, which you wouldn't really do in real life, but it allows us to look in. Again, the tonal variation, the wood tones that I've used in this have really come out really well in this wagon. If I spin these three wagons around, because they've all had the same treatment in terms of weathering and had BR decals fitted to these sides. These are obviously the BR sides now. And yeah, again, it fits into this rake as well of BR era ex-private owner wagons within the rake. All of them have got more patching on. This one's got quite a few on, but that tended to happen to these slightly shorter wagons. Now, I've done some research into these as a prototype, as per, not massively realistic. They're realistic in the sense that they're a good interpretation of lots. They're not like the more modern Rapido wagons, which are of specific prototypes. This is a decent generalisation of 4 or 5 different types of these slightly stubbier wagons. But you can kind of see how it fits into that rake. It's taken the decals well and what have you. So I'm quite pleased with this model. Now, the biggest difference to operations on this model have been to the undersides, where you've seen me fit these NEM pockets that are 3D printed. They do look a little bit funny when the wagon is kind of raised like that, and you can kind of look out for them. But then in comparison to like the Bachmann ones, you can see the difference, can't you, there? It's a bigger NEM unit, but at the end of the day, it is 3D printed. And if I'm honest, bar the wagon itself, that was the biggest expense of this. And it kind of brings it in line with, actually, it's more expensive than buying a modern Bachmann wagon. Does that mean, though, that I'm not going to buy them? No, because Sneed Colliery is just up the road from where I grew up. Literally, it's 2 miles away. I used to go walking on some of the old mine site when I was younger. So what I've done, I've also worked on another wagon quite recently for it. Again, this is the nationalisation side on this side there. They look good together. Again, this has had the NEM pockets fitted as well. And I've also bought, literally in the last week, another one. My intention is to, again, do the same sort of thing to this. Eventually, I'd love to have a little rake of these Sneed Colliery wagons, but I'm probably a little bit off having one, as these are the 3 that I own. And they're not too common on eBay. They were available in a triple pack, and I think on their own. But I suspect they weren't a massive production run. But yeah, again, the same sort of thing is going to be carried on from this one into this one, and we're going to start the whole process all over again. Speaking of the process, if you've got any ways that I can improve the modelling or the video itself, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next one where I am doing some other work to some other models. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.